our best. Every second counts today. Focus sharp, don't drift away. Lost in pieces, we unite, building worlds with all our might. Whispers humming in the air, laughing, dancing without care. From the chaos, order springs, puzzles solved in joyful flings. Pieces flying in the air, clock is ticking, no time to spare. Colors blend into the scene, solving puzzles like a dream. Hands are moving light and quick, got our tricks and perfect flicks. Every corner piece fits tight, speed puzzlers, we own the night. Puzzle mania fills the room, hearts racing, we feel the zoom. Victory is almost near, speed and fun, we have no fear. Puzzle pieces like a storm, shapes and edges we transform. Patterns forming under stress, speed puzzling at our best. Every second counts today. Focus sharp, don't drift away. Lost in pieces, we unite, building worlds with all our might. Whispers humming in the air, laughing, dancing without care. From the chaos, order springs, puzzles solved in joyful flings. Pieces flying in the air, clock is ticking, no time to spare. Colors blend into the scene, solving puzzles like a dream. Hands are moving light and quick, got our tricks and perfect flicks. Every corner piece fits tight, speed puzzlers, we own the night. Puzzle mania fills the room, hearts racing, we feel the zoom. Victory is almost near, speed and fun, we have no fear. Puzzle pieces like a storm, shapes and edges we transform. Patterns forming under stress, speed puzzling at our best. Every second counts today. Focus sharp, don't drift away. Lost in pieces, we unite, building worlds with all our might. Whispers humming in the air, laughing, dancing without care. From puzzles like a dream. Hands are moving light and quick, got our tricks and perfect flicks. Every corner piece fits tight, speed puzzlers, we own the night. Puzzle mania fills the room, hearts racing, we feel the zoom. Victory is almost near, speed and fun, we have no fear. Puzzle pieces like a storm, shapes and edges we transform. Patterns forming under stress, speed puzzling at our best. Every second counts today. Focus sharp, don't drift away. Lost in pieces we unite, building worlds with all our might. Whispers humming in the air, laughing, dancing without care. From the chaos order springs, puzzles solved in joyful flings. Pieces flying in the air, clock is ticking, no time to spare. Colors blend into the scene, solving puzzles like a dream. Hands are moving light and quick, got our tricks and perfect flicks. Every corner piece fits tight, speed puzzlers, we own the night. Puzzle mania fills the room, hearts racing, we feel the zoom. Victory is almost near, speed and fun, we have no fear. Puzzle pieces like a storm, shapes and edges we transform. Patterns forming under stress, speed puzzling at our best. Every second counts today. Focus sharp, don't drift away. Lost in pieces we unite, building worlds with all our might. Whispers humming in the air, laughing, dancing without care. From the chaos order springs, puzzles solved in joyful flings.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to tonight's competition. Hope you can all hear me well. Hi to everyone on YouTube who's watching, and glad you're enjoying the song. That's my favorite of the song. I specifically asked my husband, I want to play that song, so I had to figure out which one that is. That song's called Like a Storm. So at the moment we have 5 speed puzzling songs, and that's my favorite. All right, so we have about 70 people with us at the moment, and we still have another 10 or so to join us. And welcome to Jim, who's co-hosting tonight, and to Rika, who's helping out behind the scenes. So yes, lots of people. Oh no. Hello, can everybody hear me? Hello. I think I was talking with my microphone off. Okay. Man, I have like 3 microphone buttons here and just wondering on YouTube, can you hear me?
Yeah, the YouTube one's working now.
Okay. Oh, yep. So now I see that it's working. Good. All right. So welcome everybody, and welcome to tonight's competition. As you see, we do have a very boxy, small puzzle box there. Many have been wondering on Instagram, what could this be? So I'm happy to have a reveal. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying the introduction music, those folks who are joining us on YouTube. So we have quite a few people already watching and ready to go. Yeah, so thanks Jim for joining me tonight as co-host, and we also have Rika helping out behind the scenes. So still waiting for some people to join us. So yes, Jim, we decided to make a theme for each competition, and you suggested perseverance. So why this topic?
I think in general, perseverance is real important for all puzzlers in some capacity, because it's real easy to kind of give into the slog halfway through, right? Like after you get the easy stuff done, and there's just this like long stretch of how do I do the rest of this, and it's really hard to like keep pushing through. So I think it's a good thing to think about and sort of discuss from time to time is how do you keep pushing through whenever it looks really, really rough. I remember working on one of the first puzzles Mari and I did together was this 500-piece Escher puzzle by Pomegranate. So it was an MC Escher, so tessellation, so everything's duplicated in multiple spots and it's very square and brackety. And it was one of those situations where we looked at it and we could have stopped at any point and been like, this isn't gonna be fun. Like this is just a total bruiser, brute force kind of thing. But then we were just having fun, taking our time, putting things together little by little different speeding versus doing it just for fun, but being able to focus on what is the fun element here? How can we figure out is what we're doing enjoyable? And this is really important. So I think that puzzle, the first time we did it over the course of a couple of days just to like do it in waves, and that was really fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways to think about perseverance, about doing something in one sitting, or just having something that's really tough and make a tough section to have it to work through, or or also like something like having a competition at the Worlds where you might be doing individuals, teams, and pairs all in the same day, and how do you manage that? So we actually asked the participants in the registration form, what is the longest time that you have puzzled in one sitting? So I will share some of the answers as we go on today, but I thought I'd ask Rika. So first of all, hello, and what's the longest time you've been puzzling?
Hi. Well, I guess it's like whole day things, because I used to, I mean, I still love doing like 2,000, 3,000 piece puzzles, and it used to be, and still it's like a holiday thing, and then I have like all day, I don't have to do anything else, and I just kept puzzling all day. Try to remember to stop to eat something, but
yeah,
it's not always easy when you're on your own with the puzzle.
Yeah, you did a puzzle recently, which I thought was quite challenging, and there I think you would have been a good example of perseverance. Was it a 3,000 piece puzzle that was only black and white?
Yeah, it's 3,000 pieces Educa puzzle that is like the painting from Pablo Picasso called Guernica, so which is like this really famous painting, which I actually bought when I went to Spain in September, and it was my Christmas puzzle this year. But yeah, 3,000 pieces of shades of gray and white and black.
Yeah, and so how did you keep yourself persevering? I'm sure at some point it was getting a bit tiresome, or mean, how did you go keep the motivation up?
I just I don't know. I just like it. It's quite calming to me to just sit there and try to find the right piece. So at most part, it wasn't like a challenge in that way. It was challenging when you have like a couple hundred same shade black pieces to find the right one, but like otherwise it's. I mean, I enjoy it. I know it's not for everybody, but for me, it's fun to do these big challenging puzzles.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, yeah, it looked amazing. The finished puzzle. Yeah, so some of the answers from ranged. So it seemed like for most people, it was about somewhere between 4 and 8 hours that people have done it in one sitting, or at least, you know, okay, having a break to eat. There was some. Yeah, so many mentioned that they were doing bigger puzzles when they were doing like a 3,000 piece puzzle or 40,000 piece puzzle, that they just kind of lost track of time. Not that they did 40,000 pieces in a day, but they were just working solidly on something. And yeah, they could easily do 8 or 9 hours. But someone had a very specific time. Aaron Medley said 14 hours and 19 minutes. Is the longest that he's been puzzling. So I'm wondering if he was doing something like a crypt or, yeah. Well, he was obviously timing himself. Yeah, great. So that's
absolutely impressive.
Well, that's it. Yeah. So there was a couple of people who said 14 hours, and then somebody else said 16 hours. So that perhaps a very long training day, or maybe part of a marathon. All right, so it looks like we're ready to go. So thanks, Rika and Jim. Okay, so we do have some different wrapping papers, but you all have the same box shape, which is good to see. So we can, then you may go ahead and unwrap the puzzle.
And as you're unwrapping, happy birthday to Shannon Anderson. It's her birthday today, so this is a nice little wrapping paper present for her.
Yeah, so her paper says happy birthday.
Lovely. Oh wow, I know this box has been befuddling many puzzlers lately. So what do we have?
This is Gibsons. This is a British brand. Pretty cool brand, actually. It's over 100 years old, and it's a family business started by Mr. Gibson in 1919, and now the company is run by his great-granddaughter, Katie Gibsons. All right, so there is 2 plastic stickers on there. Please go ahead and slice those as well. Actually 4 plastic stickers.
Take all the little tabs off, everybody. You don't want to have to like start and then be hunting for them.
Yeah, so when the stickers are sliced, you can place the box back in the middle of the table. Yeah. Mayday, I don't know who you are, first of all. Yeah, please put everything back in the box. Yeah, there is a poster. Everyone, there is a poster in the box. So when you later open it up and grab the bag, if you want to take out the poster, you can, because it's not a square image. It is kind of it's kind of small. Yeah. If you want to, you can take that out at the point of pulling out your pieces. Yes, and Mayday, can you please write in the comments who you are? Because I don't recognize your name. Yeah, so, oh no, that is your name, sorry. Okay. That is there. So some other people are on 2 devices. Okay. All right, looks like we're ready to go. It's 7 o'clock. Let's do a countdown. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, everybody. This is really fun. I'm not familiar with the Gibson brand, so this is a pretty neat puzzle to see. Let's see everybody dumping the pieces and immediately going into their flip and maybe initial sort as they build out, which is really fascinating. What's the name of this puzzle, Michelle?
This is called Crossing the Ribble. So I'm assuming the Ribble is the river. I wanted to check that, but Yeah, so like a classic train crossing a bridge scene. It is a painting, so you do have that kind of blotchy texture of the trees and of the rocks in the water. Yeah, there are some pretty gnarly piece shapes in there, so I actually didn't mind the shape sorting part of it. There can be a couple of false fits in there, but there are some also really wacky shapes. So for the most part of it, I found it quite good. All right, so let's start. Let's start at maybe J today.
Pick which spot you're gonna kick off with. This is really fun. I think I'm not sure how common this particular brand is, but I think there's a chance that some puzzlers might get a little if they use the image a lot, the image that usually comes on the box, they might find a little bit of a snag in that the image itself wraps around the entire box rather than just being on one side. So if they're not thinking about using that poster, they might run into a snag.
All right, so we're starting today with Jay, Janine from Germany, Jenny from Finland, Johanna from Germany, Judith from Germany, Julia from Austria, and Karen from Austria.
Yeah, and they're off to a really good swing here. Usually you want to see a 500-piece puzzle flipped and have the initial pull built under 3 minutes, and we're coming up just over 2 minutes here, and they're doing a really solid job. You can see that Karen is sorting a lot of the blues out, and I think some of the edges as well, which is going to be a good way to parse everything in and get it going. These greens are going to be really tricky inside of here. So being able to separate the blue sky and the blue water, if you can see that texture on there, is going to be a slick way to approach this.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Rika just pointed out to me that there's a gym. There's you and there's another gym. So not that I accidentally skip over the other gym. So we're going to make sure we check out gyms.
Yeah, all of us gyms are important, no matter. No. Quite frankly, the ones that are puzzling are more important than myself.
I really like the view from Jenny there, just with like this stack of puzzles and the way everything is like spread out. That's just looking so nice there.
Yeah, that top-down view is great, and you can see that she's really using a sorting technique in order to flip and keep control of the build field as she goes through, which is going to be really important.
Yeah, so actually, I did actually skip over Jim, so sorry about that. I did see you as one person. Okay, so here up we have Jim from the Netherlands, and yeah, that's actually his first solo. Is it his first? No, I think he was here a second time. He's puzzling next to Inga. So we also have Kati from Germany. No, it's his second time. We have seen him puzzling at the same table before with Inga.
Well, Jim's doing really great. It's always tricky to puzzle right next to somebody without a physical divider. So the fact that they're both like keeping that Switzerland neutrality line in there is pretty potent. You can see on Kati's board that she's doing she's splitting some of the blues, and it looks like she's not doing a pure edge pull, but she is making a distinction between blue sky and the water blue. Which is going to be really, I think that's going to be the route that a lot of the puzzlers go on here. I'm curious which ones are going to try to go in and pull just the red pieces for that last train car in there, because that sticks out as well on the pieces.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is a lot of green. But there's the very different shades and textures of green. So, and there's also a green train. Yeah, as you say, except for the last red car. So there is a lot of, looking at the textures, the brush strokes, and we also have Kerstin K from Germany, Christian, number 3 puzzler at the Worlds from Poland, Lara from Spain, and Laura from Hungary.
Yeah, and you can't see it from where we're at right now, but the first thing Christian did after dumping all the pieces is instead of leaving them in a taller pile, he smashed them all down and spread them out a little bit. So that way it makes for a more rapid flip. And you can see that right now he's going through and building the top edge very quickly. And he's not doing a whole lot of sorting. He's not taking all the blues out and sort of making two separate piles. He's only pulling things out of that main pile that he wants to work on almost immediately. So he's doing that whole blue top edge, and now he's pulling out the blue sky bits in order to build on those, which is a pretty efficient way to get the ball rolling here. Yeah, Christian is one of the top puzzlers in the world, and he is off to a pretty great clip. Already has the top edge built, and is starting to work in on that sky. And who else do we have on the screen here?
I've just switched things up. Line Beata Svestad. Unfortunately, your camera is not working. It's saying something to do with please run camera hub. Lena Beata Svestad, please check your camera. All right, so we also have Leah from Denmark, Leen from Denmark, Lenka from Slovakia, Linda from Netherlands, and Lynn from Germany. Now, I just want to point out, Lynn hosted her own puzzle competition on the weekend using puzzles of her own paintings. So that was something pretty special. There was a small competition in Dortmund. Some of our speed puzzlers there were there. And yeah, that's a really exciting event.
That's really, really great. You can see here with the way that Lenka's splitting things, she's already built some of that red caboose part of the train, and it looks like she's also picked out some of the textures for those trains individually pretty efficiently. And it might be even some of the bridge sections, some of the bridge line that she's working on as well, and those will make pretty good anchor points in order to flesh out around those spots as well. She's done a little bit of sorting on the sky. I'm not sure if that'll cost her time down the line. But she is pretty quick and nimble on the fingers, so we'll see if we'll see if that serves her well in the later half of this. Lynn's camera is on. That top-down view is great. You can see that very similar to some of the other puzzlers, is doing a little bit of a split. I think trying to do some of the bordering, and so is Lynn doing that top sky border. There might be a little bit of brute forcing inside of that. I'm not sure how false fitting Gibson is, but that sky also has a lot of cloud work. So if you're able to distinguish specific like edge blue with where the clouds are and where some of the shading is on there, you might be served pretty well on being able to blast through that. Les is off to a good start, and it looks like, is that Linda in the middle?
Yeah, Linda W in the middle bottom.
Looks like she's done a pretty decent edge pull, and is now going to try to do the lower part of this puzzle that has a lot of blues and greens, or that like blue, rocky blue water line, and then building up to the tree. I think some of those foreground trees might be pretty clear if you look at some of the darker edges of the pieces, and sort of doing the thing that you would normally think is hard first, because there might be fewer pure black pieces inside of this puzzle.
Yeah, so when it comes to the sky, I mean, I did the skyline, the border, and then the skyline, and I was so actually surprised there's not that many pieces to fill in between the border and the skyline, which touches the hills. So it's interesting to watch Christian, that he's doing it basically like typewriter style, like top row, and then working his way down without having that extra bottom edge of the mountains to kind of close it in a bit.
Yeah, he's really sunbursting from that top part where he started, and he's going to be able to keep pushing his way down from that. And I think, and Christian's very good at handling gradients, and landscape images are his bread and butter. It's his jam. So he may have a pretty strong advantage here, just out the gate. I think he may have, let's see, that's probably like the top quarter of the puzzle. So he may have about 100 pieces down now, maybe closer to 80 or so, within the first 10 minutes of this.
Okay, so
really fun.
So I have two Mandys, and one is turned off. I'm assuming that's the second device of Mandy Sino. Okay. So yeah, just want to mention Zelenka is also on the screen there next to Christian. Now she's one of the top puzzlers. She's always very, very often in the top 6 and has very often position 4. And I know she's aiming really, really hard. She's very consistent, very dedicated puzzler. Really wants to get on that podium. She's been 4th several times also in pairs. But I just want to mention she commented that when she was training for the Worlds, she probably did about 15 hours in a day. She said there were some days where she was only puzzling, eating, and sleeping.
I believe that it's real easy to get stuck into the pieces, and she's doing a great job. You can see she has a lot of that border built, and she's also used a little bit of DRing or that pick and place in order to put down some of those sections of the bridges or the trains, and I think that's going to give her some really good anchors in order to build out from there. But she's building out the rest of that edge now.
Yeah, so also on screen we have Lena Beata from Norway, Lotta from Finland, Marit from Finland, Mandy from the Netherlands, and Maria from Slovakia.
Yeah, that top edge sky is going to be a favorite for a lot of these puzzlers. You can see that many of them now have at least the top and going down into the initial tree lines, and splitting the colors up is going to be a good way to go. You can see that I think it's Marguerite down there. She's split the sky and a little bit of the water blues as well. Mandy Sana is doing a solid job, has the bottom edge done, taking sort of the inverse of everybody else. Has that the whole bottom edge going up towards the sky, and it looks like she's now working on the sky edge and will kind of push up into that bigger part of the pile. And is doing well to get kicked off here. Remember, if you get that full border in, it's going to be about 86 pieces, regardless of what brand you're on. If it's a 500, usually the whole border's 86, and that gives you a pretty good approximation of if you're on pace with some of the leaders or not. So doing off to a good start. And Maria working through those skies. You can see she has a line on her table, probably to try to space for worlds. Whenever you have a puzzle brand that you're not familiar with, going over the line is totally fine. I know that the puzzle, the table size is regulated for Ravensburger, but whenever you're not sure, the line doesn't really matter. You can see that she's got really good lighting right there in the center for her, so she's going to be able to plow through.
So on screen, we also have Maria TB from Sweden, Marie from Norway, Mayday from Poland, Michel from Germany, and Miller. I don't actually have a registration. It came in. So yes,
better late than never.
It was pretty late. Yeah, we had a few people just in the last half hour. Okay, so Miller is from Finland. Yeah, a lot of top borders there. That seems to be a favorite part for most people. I actually started with a complete border, so interesting that many people are just choosing to do the top border and get straight into the sky.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised that the whole top border was picked first, rather than doing like the boundary between some of the mountain lines and the blue sky in there, because that's a pretty distinct line across that doesn't require quite as much shape work. If you're feeling confident on your shape work, go for it. But sometimes going for the color that sticks out the most can sometimes have the most pieces in it and slow you down a little bit. But we can see that they're off to a really good go here. Mandy M in the lower left has that the whole top edge built and is digging down into the sky. You can see she's kind of going left to right with a couple of pieces, trying to do that similar typewriter tactic that Christian is known for. Maria in the upper right has that whole bottom edge doing the inverse and is going to keep trying to get this entire border built before starting in on any of the middle. And I think the other Mandy there has a lot of that top edge built. It's moving around a little bit. Sorry for being a little laggy, folks. But they're in a similar space of putting their pieces above where they're going to be building the puzzle, and then pulling down into the field, which is pretty great.
So moving on, we have Nana from Denmark, Rachel from the UK, Ramona from Switzerland, Rihards from Latvia, and Rika from Denmark.
And you can see Rachel's actually doing a cool thing here where she's done the top edge and then she put a little bit in of that mountain line versus sky, and is then going to be able to use that to shape in those missing spots from the rest of the clouds, which is really great. Rika is doing a solid job, has that upper line of sky built in, is trying to get some of the clouds. I think Nana, is that the name correct, Michelle? She's doing that outline of the sky as well, getting that top edge in, then some of that upper mountain line, and going in from there. Taking a quick look at what Christian is doing, you can see that over towards the right, his right, our left, he's putting together some of that edge little by little. That's going to be the bottom part of this now that he has the mountain line in, and I think he's going to use that to sort of choo-choo train the pieces together and brute force the rest of the field, and that'll give him some structure for the rest of this puzzle. Yeah, and we're coming up at about the 17-minute mark here, which is a pretty good pace. If those of you who are watching in the chat, go on ahead and guess what times you think that this is going to be finished in. I'm not sure how familiar this brand is to a lot of people, so this might be closer to the 35-36 range for some of the leaders. But they're also coming up on the greens that are going to be pretty rough, so this might get pushed a little bit later to like 38 or so.
Yeah, so I put Christian away for the moment. We'll catch up with him probably in about 15 minutes or so, and it's probably the puzzle is almost done. But we're going to see who else we have tonight. I just want to mention Rihards. He had a nice comment regarding perseverance. His family decided to do a 6,000 piece puzzle at Christmas last year on the evenings and in their free days, and it took them 20 days. So 20 days for a 6,000 piece puzzle. That's also perseverance. All right.
That is a long time to be doing a puzzle.
It helps when you have family around and you can share the load. All right. So we have Sabrina from Switzerland, Sammy from USA, and I love the top hat on her little mascot.
Yeah.
Is it a wombat? It looks like an Australian wombat. Very cute. We also have Saka from Czech Republic, Saskia from Germany, Shannon from the USA, and Stefan from Austria.
And you can see our birthday girl Shannon has almost the whole border complete and is then going to be able to jump on to the next project. I'm real curious what she's going to pick on for that. Sarka has almost that whole sky complete. There's a handful of gaps in there, but using that mountain line is going to be really important in order to try to brute force the rest of it. But I think she might be moving on to doing some of that water below. Sabrina has almost the full border complete and a lot of the cloud region of the sky, and hopefully she'll be able to blitz through that upper left corner that's a little more just flat blue. We can see Sammy Brownlow with Chambi has almost the full border complete. That sky's done, and a lot of that mountain range. She is flying through the first part of this. And in the top right, I can't quite read the name, but they're doing
Saka.
That's Sarka. Okay, apologize for the names, folks. But she has that tall upper sky region with the clouds built in. That mountain line has some of the edge, has some of the lower border edge placed but not necessarily connected, which is a really slick way of setting yourself up for success down the line. And it looks like she's starting to build in down on some of the trains. She's doing very, very well here. I would definitely keep an eye on her in the future because she is flying. This is actually going to be a really close race whenever we start getting into the finishes. It's going to come down to who can distinguish those green textures very well, along with some of those rock patterns, because the bridge rock is split pretty significantly.
Yeah, we have a lot of people here that have turned their box back to front. So there is actually the image in the land in the incomplete also on the backside, it's just very small, but in compared to the poster is kind of a bit curvy. It doesn't fit so well into the box holders, so that's another way, is just to flip the box over and put that into the holder.
Yeah, and this is definitely a situation where if you're comfortable with certain styles or methods of puzzling, a totally different, a super tiny image to work off of may be a snag. But you know, as the theme of today goes, you can work through it. Like we all believe in you. Go as fast as you can, right? Just because it's a little bit of a barrier doesn't mean that it needs to stop you. You guys can do this.
So we also have Stephanie K from Germany, Tamar from the Netherlands, Taya from Finland, Teresa from Sweden, and Tobias from Sweden.
Stephanie K doing a fantastic job here, has that whole upper sky and the top part of the mountain range built. And you can see she's pulling pieces down underneath of the field and is going to start working on that. Really, really great start there. Tamar, I believe that's Tamar. Very similar state. They're kind of going neck and neck right now, so that's going to be a fun part of the race to watch. The person in the lower left here has a lot of the sky. You can see that they're placing a lot of pieces, not necessarily connected. So hopefully hopefully over time that's going to be good anchors in order to sink in. But I think some of those are going to kind of Tetris and rotate very rapidly into where they're going to go. And lower middle has the top edge completed. Keep going. We're rooting for you. And Tobias, I'm going to get my Tobias's #1 fan hat out here. He's doing a really, really great job. Has almost the whole border complete. You can also see that he's built the blue out of the lake and has placed that successfully within the puzzle as well. So even though people are working on different parts of the puzzle, getting pieces in and getting them connected is all that matters. So even if it's a little more spotty, he may be in a pretty good place. He doesn't quite have as much of the mountain range as some of the other participants just yet, but I think that lake region might slow some folks down if they're not quite as good on their texture and paintbrush look.
So we've made it to the end of the alphabet. We have Valentina from Belgium, Veronica G from Germany, Veronica V from Slovakia, Veroni from Switzerland, Victor from Poland, and Aaron from the UK.
All right, you can see Veronica has almost the whole border, that red train sticking out, and is built pretty quickly in the sky, going really good. Veronica, also very similar state for a lot of these puzzlers. I do want to point out Victor is flying. You can see that he has the whole border built and has a lot of the initial bridge line going across the middle and some of the upper mountain range. If he steps on it, he might be in contention for hitting the podium here, if not the very top slot. That whole bottom border is really good. You can see that he has some pieces sitting in the field. And is going to be able to very rapidly sink those where they go. You can see his hands flying over the puzzle very, very quickly, similar to how Alejandro moves. I always get a kick out of watching Victor puzzle. But that main line through the middle is hopefully going to help him. It's just going to be a matter of, is he going to squeeze the rest of the pieces up or down in order to get the rest of this going? And you can see he's a little indecisive about which way he wants to go. And that's okay as long as you keep moving, right? One of the things with perseverance is pushing forward even when you're not entirely sure what to do. And sometimes that just means pick a thing and go.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how people handle like the rocks and the reflections in the water. So there are these darker reflections showing the arches on the of the bridge reflecting into the water, and it looks quite clearly on the poster, but the pieces, I couldn't tell anything. I couldn't differentiate where they were, and I had to go to the shape at that point. So yeah, curious to see how people handle the bottom third of the image. So far we're seeing everyone tackle the top third and patches in the middle. So I'm going to leave Victor on there a bit longer. We also have Amy. I'm going to jump to the top. Amy from the UK, Andrea from USA, Anna from Cyprus, Anna from Sweden, and we have another Anna from Germany.
It's the Hannah Army in this one, which is really fun. You can see Andrea is doing really well here. She has that whole top sky done. She's also went ahead and, very similar to Tobias, ended up doing that the water line inside of there, and has the whole lower border. And you can see that she's now going in and placing a lot of pieces for those trains, and is going to be able to build out around that. Andrea is very strong using that dead reckoning or pick and place tactic, and you can see that some of those pieces that are in the puzzle field, they look like they're just floating, but she knows exactly where they go, and it's part of what makes her close so dangerous. Like, she's able to get a lot of pieces in really fast towards the end, so it can look like she's a little behind and then just accelerate out of it. But she's doing very well. Again, kind of spaced, a lot of pieces spaced over the place, but she's doing well. We can also see person in the upper in the top middle here, I can't quite catch their name, has the top sky. The lower border needs a little bit of work, but they're going to be able to catch up. Anna Art, I believe, in the lower left, has that top sky, the lower border, and has now got a bunch of pieces in the middle and just needs to untangle them a little bit in order to get into the train zone a little bit. Anna, also doing the blue sky, has the full border, and Anna L, trying to get those last couple of pieces of sky in. Just keep on moving. I know that once we cross the 25-minute mark, people start feeling it on their back a little bit, and you just got to keep that physicality going, even as you're trying to not get bamboozled, dealing with the rest of those colors.
Yeah, so I just want to mention, in case I missed it, I got to the end of the alphabet, but we also had Aaron on from the UK on the screen before we jumped up to the A's. I just want to mention, I really like the blue patches that Andrea has done. So you can see these three little like green patches under the archway, but also the water is connected, and that, yeah, it just looks nice on her brown table.
It is a really great look, yeah.
Yeah, so this is one of the harder puzzles that I have used, done as a solo, I have to say. Not in general, but just for the EJJs. I've barely scraped in under 90 minutes. So I'm interested to see.
Getting it under 90. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm happy to get under 90. I did have to practice perseverance when I got below the bridge. So we have another Anna with us, Anna S. from Germany, Annalise from Belgium, Annemie from Switzerland, Annika from Germany, and Astrid from Denmark.
And they're off to a good kick here. You can see, taking a quick look at Victor's screen there. His risk of putting that bridge line in is paying off. He's now being able to squeeze up a little bit more and get the rest of that area above the bridge line built very quickly here, which is excellent. And I think he might be one of, if not the leader right now. It's going to be really tight. Annemie in the middle there, doing a little bit of a hodgepodge. You can see she's working through the bridge line rather than doing the border or the sky, and is going to branch out from there and both above and below. I think she has some of the water going. Two of the other puzzlers here doing a lot of sky, have the trains locked in, some of that mountain region. I think Annemie in the lower left has a couple of puzzle box managers as well, keeping an eye on things. I'm not sure their names just yet.
Those are new ones. She has new unicorns. These ones have patterns on them. The other ones were usually kind of white and fluffy. These ones must be new additions.
There's always more. They keep coming. Annika doing a good job trying to get the dark border built in, but this is tricky. A lot of people don't think about this, but the art style of that paintbrush is really difficult, especially whenever you're looking at waters or rocks, because the ends of where one stroke starts and one begins starts to overlap pretty significantly. And Astrid has that whole sky, just needs to connect a couple of pieces in order to get the full border done, but has that bridge line in as well. And you can see that that mountainous region above the trains are starting to come together. Getting those light greens out of the pile and into the puzzle is going to make it easier to see what's going on underneath of the bridge a little bit. And just pushing her way through that, which is really great. But Victor right now is flying. You can see just in the time that we were talking, already has the water lines underneath of the bridges built in, those light blues, and filled in really, really rapidly. I think he might be in the lead here, but I don't want to speak too soon until we see a couple more people.
Yeah, we have Barbara from Austria, Birgit from Germany, Carolyn A from Germany, Carolyn S from Germany, and Christina from Denmark.
Christina doing a good job getting that whole sky together. Keep on pushing. The fun begins once you're into the greens. That's where it gets real wild. In the upper middle, we can see that they have that whole sky, the mountain range, doing a really good job. We're coming in on the 31-minute mark, so a lot of people are going to start really feeling it in the back. Usually it's around 35 that the pain slog starts hitting in, the attention drain starts kicking in. So the faster you go early, the easier it makes life down the line. Claudia has the border in, has done those the water regions below the bridge very, very well, is now trying to branch into some of the mountain regions, get those locked in overall. And we can see the person in the upper right is using multiple boards to store some of the pieces and try to organize them a little bit as sorters while saving a little bit of space. You can see that they have that whole upper sky region in the mountain line in. Really, really fantastic stuff.
So we have Claudia from Germany, Daniela from Germany, Daria from Denmark, Dominic from Germany, and Ekaterina from Russia.
Alrighty. Sometimes my screen's on a little lag, so it takes me a second. Sorry, everybody.
But well, I can say everyone's doing the sky. We have 5 people doing the sky, all coming from the top down and working their way towards the mountains, and some have got the red train going. I'm just going to move on a bit quicker because I see that Victor is narrowing down to the darker pieces. And I hear that I need to get to the E's and check out the Amelias.
I think Kati's doing very well as well. This is going to be pretty wild.
Okay, we on the screen we have Aliska from Czech, Amelia K from Finland, Amelia L from Finland, Emma from Sweden, and Fleur from Netherlands. Oh
wow, yeah, you can see Amelia K has the whole top part of the mountain region done, has the lower border, some of the water line, and just needs to build in around those areas. So she has a lot of that boxed in, and is going to make it easier to use shape work along with the color in order to sort of tag it from both ends. Amelia Lieberman has a lot of this puzzle built in. It looks like the whole top sky region, the border, and some of the islands, but just a little behind Amelia K right now. And Emma Jackson doing a really good job, has that train bridge line built in and can now squeeze play up into the mountain region. Those greens are not going to be easy, but being able to have that extra one bit of information of what the shape of the piece looks like is going to go a long way. And I'm not sure that lower right name. Doing a good job. Yeah.
I'm just jumping to Kati that we can keep an eye on her.
Yeah.
And let's check out F for Francisca. So we have, Kati, also working her way. Now she's getting to the darks. Okay, yep. So we have Francisca O from Germany, Francisca T from Germany, Freya from Denmark, and Frugi from Hungary.
Yeah, you can see Victor and Kati are very close to each other. Kati might have the might have a slight piece advantage because the lower border is going to go pretty quick for her compared to some of the other spots that Victor has already built in. But they might be piece count even wise. Kati is very, very quick on being able to build borders, so she's going to be able to catch up. I hope that Victor's going to be able to get some of those greens in order to keep pace, but this is going to be really, really close coming into the end here. Francesca doing a great job getting those water lines in that sky. Freya has a lot of that sky built in and is working on some of the bridge. Lower right, Francesca getting those ocean lines in and a lot of that upper sky. The trick is going to be connecting them without blocking your box too much with a lot of extra pieces, but doing a really, really solid job here so far. This is going to be coming into the wire.
So we also have Gabriella from Romania, Hannah from Finland, Heidi from Belgium, and Inga from the Netherlands on screen.
Okay. Yeah, and you can see that everybody's in sort of a similar space here overall. Kati and Victor are coming in towards the last maybe about 150 pieces or so. I think Victor might have the advantage at this point now that he's cleaned up some of those green pieces and is going to be able to just drop in those last couple of gaps using a little bit of shape work. Kati might be falling a little bit more behind here because she's trying to work down using the gradient rather than having the bottom part boxed in. Victor may have a slight advantage coming into the end here.
I'm going to jump to Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Been a while.
Yeah, Christian and Victor are looking very, very close. I think Victor might be slightly ahead from where it's at. The camera angle's a little tricky to determine, but this is going to come down to the wire.
But it's all just down to the black rocks and the reflections.
Yeah, the easy part.
Yeah.
No, those black rocks are not going to be easy. Being able to pinpoint really good anchors in those stones is going to be wildly important as we come into the close here. But Christian and Victor are neck and neck. Christian may have a slight advantage. Victor has an extra line, but he's really rapid at being able to get those last little bits of pieces shaped, sorted, and into the puzzle. Christian very rapidly rotating the pieces in his hands. You'll notice that he's using both his left and his right hand simultaneously in order to rotate the pieces and drop them in rather than just using one or the other. He's very, very quick. He's not using a hand to like sort or hold pieces. They're just spinning around in the place. Kati seems to be struggling a little bit getting down into this darker region. That might be part of the dark table behind, slowing her down just a little bit. But Christian and Victor going piece for piece. Christian may have a slight advantage. I think he's pulling ahead just a little bit with each piece. He's going two-handed at the same time, getting them in. You can see Victor starting to put a piece in and then take it out. He might be second guessing himself a little bit coming into the close here. Yeah.
Jim, I just want to introduce two more people and then we'll see if there's anybody else who might be in closing in on Christian, Kati, and Victor. Yeah. So we have Iris Bakker from Denmark in the top corner, and bottom left is Irma. Now I just want to point out Irma is the mum from Anami and Veroni. So there's three members of the Anami's family here today, and great to see Mum is also doing her first solo. All right, let's see who else might be in the running.
Yeah, and Iris is doing a great job here. She didn't start with the sky. Catherine's pointing out she worked along the mountain line and is doing some of the bridge as well. So saving what might be the easiest for last. But I think Christian might have this locked up if he can keep that pace. There's maybe about a line and a half worth of pieces down at the bottom, maybe the last 50. Victor's slowing down just a little bit too much here coming into the end. Kati doing very, very well. She's now building out the lower border and is then going to sink those last couple of pieces. But I think Christian might be just slightly ahead here coming into the finish. You can see that he's using left hand and right hand. He's rotating a piece and then putting it right in. He's not like double dropping. And at this point, whenever you only have a line of pieces to go in, anything you pick up you can just shape work it and rotate it to get it in a little bit faster. Sometimes people start second guessing themselves. Once you're at the last 50 pieces or so, and there's not a whole lot of big gaps, you can sink this in very rapidly. Get close to like 15, 22 pieces in within a minute, which is going to be very, very rapid. And we're coming up on the 40-minute mark here. If somebody guessed that, I think they did. You're going to be pretty close here. You can see Kati finishing up that lower part of the border, and then she's going to have maybe about 50 pieces or so left. But Christian is coming in on his last 10, left, right. You can see him doing a little bit of a crossover maneuver in order to get those in. Victor rotating things in, getting them rotating, drops, picks one up. But Christian is going to walk away with this one in first place, I think, with just a few more pieces in the hold.
Yeah, just a few more pieces, looking fantastic.
2, 1.
Well done.
He gets it in and just has to set the done button. And congratulations to Christian.
Awesome. So that was just on 40 minutes. Yes, give us some fist pumps and some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The excitement is fantastic. And I don't see I don't see somebody coming up on third place, so I think Victor might have second locked up here. But congratulations, Christian. That was very, very well done. Really, really fun to watch. We know you got third at Worlds, and now you're first in this EJJ. I'm really excited to see your play this whole season. We can see Victor and Kati coming in on their close. Victor has maybe about 10 pieces left, and Kati right behind him. Those dark splotches of color with a little bit of stones might be a stumbling block, because trying to figure out what is stone versus what is a little bit of a crest in the water can throw a lot of people off. And Victor hits the button.
Oh, Victor's
like he
has missing a piece.
Singular missing piece. Yeah.
Oh, well done, Victor. Second place, 41 minutes. So just a minute behind your compatriot from Poland. So Poland, first and second today.
Very, very, very well done. Congratulations to both. And Sammy Brownlow doing a really good job here as well. You can see her on the lower left has maybe about 200 pieces left to go here, and I think Kati is going to be able to lock up the third place slot unless somebody sneaks in underneath of her. We can see Amelia Kohornen also working on that lower region of the black spots, but I think Kati has enough of an edge here that she's going to be able to walk away with the third place slot. Let's see, who else do we have? Tobias has a lot of that upper region left, just needs to get the water line in. And who's in the lower left here, Michelle?
Oh, I've switched things up a bit.
That's all right.
I'm a few steps ahead of you. I'm just trying to see who might be coming in third, fourth, and fifth place. Well, no, I think we know who third is. We're looking for fourth, fifth, and sixth. It looks like there's between Kati and the next finisher. It looks like there's going to be a bit of a few minutes gap. Everybody else seems to have still a couple of hundred people, but I'm going to keep switching up. Maybe the Amelias are getting closer.
Yeah, and this is where I tell people a lot. After the 35-minute mark, that fatigue starts setting in, because it's really hard to stay laser focused on anything for longer than about a half hour, where the only thing you're thinking about is that one thing. So the fatigue starts setting in. Attention-wise, it starts setting in from a physical standpoint. If you start getting into your head that, hey, this is a hard puzzle, it's easy to let yourself take your foot off of the gas a little bit and sort of get in that space of, well, if it's hard for me, it's hard for everybody, so I'm just going to kind of take it easy and coast. That's whenever you need to hit the gas even harder, because if it's hard for you and you're going quickly, you're going to get it done just that much faster. So keep on going, everybody. Kati has maybe about 60 pieces left, or even less than that. It might be down to the last 25. It's a little hard to see with the dark pieces there, but she's going to be able to push through. Sammy Brownlow doing a really, really good job here. You can see that she has that whole top chunk done and is now working on the water line. The art style here of that paintbrush makes that region pretty difficult, but being able to discern which dark pieces go where is going to be really important. We can see Amelia K is down to everything that needs to be that exists underneath of the water reflection pockets, which is those dark pieces. She has that border built in, so she's going to be able to use a little bit of shape work in order to get the rest of this in. I think she's ahead of Amelia L here. just by a little bit of a spacing. But Kati coming in on the last maybe 10 pieces inside of this, doing a really, really fantastic job. And folks, everybody, you can see that there's a little bit of a slowdown whenever you hit one of these slog regions, and that's always tough to get around.
Yeah, but this is
Kati,
definitely a trickier puzzle. So, yeah, this is it's only by chance that Jim chose the topic of perseverance, and once I did the puzzle, I was like, yeah, that fits. So Kati takes in third place, podium again. Congratulations! 45 minutes. So, yeah, 3 minutes, 3-ish minutes behind. No, 4 minutes behind Victor. Okay, Victor says, I have this missing piece stuck in the radiator.
I think the piece was just keeping it warm for you. That's all. It was just setting you up for that. But yeah, this is definitely a tricky one. And you can see if you look on the image itself, the dark line across the middle, it's not straight. It actually kind of waves up and down a little bit. So it might even be a tactic to look for the outline between the colors of one of the dark regions and one of the other ones in order to get those in a little bit more rapidly. Or look for the pieces that are only all dark or dark with have a little bits of white specks on them, just to make a little bit of an extra distinguishing demarcation to get those in. Andrea Pang is also doing really, really well here. You can see that she has the upper sky region, and now the pieces that she has remaining are kind of spaced all over the place. They're not necessarily in one big cluster. So she's going to be able to very rapidly accelerate into the back half here and use a lot of shape work in order to sync these pieces. I'm always amazed by how she's able to use that pick and place, that dead reckoning technique in order to get these really, really tricky regions of the puzzle locked in very quickly. And we're coming up on the 47-minute mark here. And you can see that Amelia Kay is still trying to finish up that lower part of the puzzle. And I know whenever I say still, people go, oh, wow, that's taking a while. That's because that is the hardest part of the puzzle right now. I know earlier on I thought, hey, maybe if you look at the dark pieces, that might be a good distinguisher. But it looks like there's way more of it than my initial glance. And so that's definitely going to be the tough part of the puzzle here. Even compared to some of the mountain regions. Yeah,
it does help to look at, to try and identify the rocks, because there are like this white and light grey pieces that do stick out. The pieces they do have this kind of murky texture to it. And as you say, it all kind of blends in together, and it is hard to actually see the reflection of the bricks of the bridge. So yeah, maybe try to focus on the white flecks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and that's where that extra little distinguish of what I sometimes call feature plus one of whatever the color is plus one additional feature. Like, is there texture plus one additional thing that you can use to try to distinguish a little bit? But Andrea is doing a really, really good job here getting those last couple of pieces. We can see Amelia Kay starting to get a little bit of a boost coming into the end here. Lenka also doing a solid job here, has the lower part of the dark region underneath of the bridge that needs to get filled out, and a little bit of the mountain in the middle right hand. That might be one of the tree lines. Yeah, that's more of a tree line. But hopefully that's going to be pretty straightforward to distinguish once she gets into those pieces. Lenka might be a little behind the 8 ball having a black tabletop, but you can see Andrea here blitzing into the last bit of the puzzle. just whole swaths of it rapidly disappearing, which is really phenomenal. Who do we have in the lower right here, Michelle?
Lower right is Hannah.
And Hannah finishing up on the sky region. We're going to see if that pays off for her coming into the end here. And I think Andrea might be able to overtake Amelia Kay if she's able to keep this pace. You can see that she's kind of getting a boost, whereas Amelia Kay is slowing down a little bit and being a lot more methodical. Even though Amelia Kay is rotating pieces in her hands and sort of checking, she's bringing the pieces back to the field after trying each one in one spot. Whereas Andrea is picking a piece up, trying it in multiple places, and then sinking it. Andrea's down to the last 5 pieces here. She might become screaming into the 4th place slot. We'll see if she's able to pull it off. I think she's got this one, and she hits it. Congratulations, Andrea.
Awesome,
Very,
Andrea.
very well done.
Great.
That
So
was,
fourth place, Andrea at 49 minutes, just coming up to 50 minutes. But yeah, looks like Amelia is ahead of those on screen, closely followed by, yeah, Astrid and Hannah have roughly the same amount of pieces, but just in different areas. Hannah hasn't done the sky yet.
Yeah, this is where things get a little dicey, because we start coming in on the 50-minute line, and that's where all of the that's where all of your faculties start to leak out of your brain a little bit, because you're so locked in that some of the regions that you're working on start looking like every other piece, right? It's easy to get lost in the sauce. Even if you can stay focused, your eyes can start hurting after a little bit of time, right? You know, there's always the joke about playing video games for too long and that hurting your eye. Mostly it's just because you're staring in one spot for a little too long, and that causes your eye to lock up. But this sort of long-term playing is pretty tough, and I don't think we've had an EJJ in a while where the top 10 weren't all under the 50-minute line. So that gives you an indication of how tough this puzzle is. But it looks like Astrid might be coming into the finish here, has maybe about 50 pieces remaining in that lower quadrant, and then some in that tree line. She's really picking up the pace here. You can see that she's starting to rapidly get those last little bits of rock line in, and then it's just 2 trees in order to sink, and she's going to have it done. Tamar also doing a good job, has the rest of the bridge in and that lower reflection of water, and has that lower border also built out, so it's going to be able to use some shape work. Really keep pushing, everybody. I'm rooting for all of you.
Yeah, did you notice that Amelia just finished? Amelia Korhonen?
No, I missed it. I'm so sorry. I didn't see it. Amelia Cornin. Congratulations.
Yeah, her camera view is a bit smaller compared to the others, so I think you just jumped over it. But yeah, congratulations to Amelia K. 2 minutes behind Andrea, taking out 5th place. Congrats.
Well done.
I think she really liked that one. I mean, she is a fan of Sky.
Well, she was probably a fan of the Sky part, and then the parts that weren't Sky caught up. That's what makes a lot of the puzzle picks tricky. And Astrid finishes right behind her. Congratulations, Astrid. That was a really great pull out in order to catch up there.
Yeah, I just want to mention that our first and third place today, so Christian and Kati, won't be staying for an interview. So if somebody further down the line, somebody who just finished, Andrea, Amelia K, or Astrid, if you would like to stick around, we'd be happy to interview afterwards. If you have time, you can let us know. So let's see who else is in the running. So
Lanka's doing a really good job. I can't see all of Amelia Lieberman's puzzle, but she's coming in on the lower portion where it's just that dark slog, and that's going to be tough for everybody. It looks like an enemy. I'm so sorry. I got the name. I apologize for that. It's coming in on the lower edge, and Tamar's doing a really great job. Has that line of just dark pieces across the lower middle that needs to get knocked out. And I think, who's in the upper right here that's working on the Sky?
Hannah
doing a fantastic job. I think starting with that dark side first might give her a little bit of an emotional boost coming into the end here. Lanka is also trying to finish up the rest of those trees, but those are split on opposite sides of the puzzle, so being able to go back and forth, especially with that dark tabletop, is going to be tricky. She might be able to push it out here, but Hannah is coming in on the Sky. She only has maybe about 10-15 pieces left, same as Lanka, but Lanka's pieces are split. I think Hannah's going to be able to pull this off coming into the Sky region. Tamar's falling behind a little bit as she starts in on that lower dark region. Hannah accelerating in the Sky, using the shape and the Sky in order to get that in. And Hannah finishes. Congratulations, Hannah. Very well done. Locking up our 6th place position. That was excellent. Lanka still working on those trees. They are really difficult, especially if you have a black table where all of those colors bleed together just a little bit. We can see Hannah wrapping up. Emma Jacobson has that left-hand side of a tree line and then the lower dark end to finish up. Sarka doing a really great job. I think she has that lower bottom to finish up. I think Sarka, Lenka, and who's in the upper left here? Is that Inga?
Upper left is Inga, yes.
Yeah, I think those three are going to be in the next round of finishers. Lenka might have heard me mention that and is putting the gas on to get those last couple of pieces in. Really hitting it. As soon as you can smell where the victory is and you start seeing those pieces clearly, they can sink in. Yeah, Inga's doing fantastic. Lenka coming in on maybe the last 5 or 6 pieces. I think she's going to be able to lock this one in for a top 10 slot. Very, very, very well done. I know you put a question into the chat of do you like trains, puzzles of trains? Hard to say. And Lenka finishes it up. Very, very, very well done. Congratulations, Lenka. That was a barn burner, and in just over the 55-minute mark, I think, or yeah, just around 56. Very, very well done. Congratulations. So now we have Inga and Sarka and Emma, I believe. Try to pull them up on my mini screen here so I can get a better look of things. Sarka has maybe about 15 pieces left. Inga about the same. I think Inga is slowing down a little bit in that pure dark region. Sarka has a couple of extra lines through the middle that's going to let her do a little extra shape work inside of here. But you can see that she's pushing pretty well here. Emma Jacobson has a ways to go yet in that tree line in the bottom. Veronica has a lot of those greens and darks built in, but she's done a pretty significant shape sort. But it's really going to come down to Inga and Sarka wrapping up here. Sarka being very methodical, taking each piece and checking multiple spots before putting it back into the pile. Inga sort of testing a spot, putting it back, trying to rotate it in her hand, trying couple of different spots. But I think Sarka may have the advantage here. You can see that Sarka's using both left and right hands to sink those pieces in. Maybe down to about 5 or 6 pieces remaining. And Inga's just not going to be able to catch up on this one. And I think Sarka locks this one up, just needs to hit done. Congratulations, Sarka. Very, very well done on the top 10 finish. Congratulations. That was fantastic. And now Inga's going to be coming into the next position. I know a lot of our puzzlers have got to be feeling a little bit of that pang of, oh my gosh, this is so tough, and it absolutely is. And if you're in a rough spot, try to focus on something else. Maybe this is when you want to try a quick shape sort. Maybe this is when you want to try a feature +1. Maybe you just want to like shake it out for a second, blink a few times, and then jump back in. Something to hit the reset button so that way you can keep going if you've hit the line. Tobias is coming in.
Or just take a closer look at the box or the poster. I had to do that a couple of times and just try and look for one detail that I could search for on the pieces when all the rest are looking the same.
Yeah, it's really easy to whenever you start to hyper focus to forget that you have additional options, right? Or you think that you're looking at the image for longer than you are, and you do these micro glances where you just kind of like you look up at the image real quick and then come back to the puzzle without actually knowing what you looked like, right? Give yourself a second to really study and then jump in and finish the rest. I think Inga's coming in on the last 5 pieces here and is going to wrap that up. Tobias not too far behind her. It's actually going to be a bit of a tight race here. Tobias may have the last 3 or 4 pieces to sink in. Inga hits the button just before and gets the next slot, and Tobias right behind her. 2 pieces left. There it is. Congratulations, Tobias. Very, very well done. That was a close finish for both competitors there, and I didn't quite catch the numerical positionings of both people. I think it's 8th or 9th, something like that. Is that correct?
We're now at so Lenka was 8th, Sarka 9th, Inga 10th, Tobias 11th.
Just barely pushed up to 11, and that's a fantastic finish, especially on a tough puzzle like this, and with all of the super strong puzzlers that we have today, which is really phenomenal. You can see Emma Jacobson finishing up some of that tree line, and then is going to be able to blitz over to that left-hand side of the puzzle in order to finish that end. Enemy also in a very similar spot. I think Enemy may be slightly ahead of Emma at this point. Is that Claudia in the bottom trying to do that dark line?
Oh, that's Carolyn. Carolyn,
sorry.
Yeah, she's doing really well. Only got gaps to fill in on the rocks.
Yep. And we also have Sammy Brownlow in the lower bottom, has that similar line. There's fewer gaps in there, so if Sammy really gets the physicality going and starts rotating him, she might be able to catch up to the other people here and finish in a top 15 slot. You can see up in the upper right, is that Linne? Right?
Yes, Lena Beata.
Lena, doing really solid. You can see that she has similar few gaps, is going to be able to try to brute force those. But I think it's going to come down to Sammy and Claudia and Emma and an Enemy. Sammy brute forcing this, Emma getting a boost of acceleration, but Enemy walks away with this one right at the end. So sorry for bouncing back and forth a little bit. The screens are kind of difficult to juggle here. But Enemy gets the next one, and Emma Jacobson right behind, and Sammy Brownlow just behind Emma. Congratulations, everybody that's finished so far. That's a really strong to push through. And Tamar right behind that particular wave of puzzlers. Really well done. And I hope all. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, we better bring in Victor, if you're there. We'll just have a quick chat with you about what you thought of the puzzle, and yes, and we'll continue. So if Victor, you can turn your microphone on. And yeah, we just had another wave of finishes. Well done. So all within 2 minutes. Enemy, Emma, Sammy, Tamar, Tamar, and then Carolyn. Well done. Hi, Victor.
Hi.
Hey there.
So, should I say what I think about the puzzle?
Yes, please. I was going to say, yeah. What did you think of this puzzle? Have you seen it before? Have you done it? What to give us the skinny?
So first thing, I would like to mention that this puzzle, the Gibson brand, and at least this puzzle because I don't know this brand, this is like the perfect example of why I don't like doing Casterlands. And it's this painting mess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I saw this puzzle yesterday, but maybe even today, I don't know. I was talking with a Polish speed puzzler about puzzles that they are going to get in the Polish online competitions. And she said that she has this very small box, and she sent an example of what she thinks the brand will be, and this was the puzzle from the example. And I was just like, I look at the box picture, and I was like, no, it won't be that one. I don't want to look at this.
you had actively convinced yourself it's not going to be that. That's way too tough.
Yeah, so I didn't even look into it. I was just like, this is not possible. I disagree. No. And here we are.
No, it's really interesting that you had seen it before and had done so well on it. What makes the art style tricky for you?
The art style itself, I would say that even if you are able to sort things, which I did, I basically did almost full sort before I started doing anything. The hardest part is that those things that you sorted are in multiple places. This is the main thing, especially for this puzzle. And then the second thing is that even if you have a section that you sorted, this section is so barely defined in itself that you have, let's say, 80 pieces, 100 pieces sorted, and you think, okay, this is maybe the same thing. We are talking about this beautiful water under the bridge. Then it's like, yeah, I know it goes there, but this is it. You can't really get anything from it. And what I learned from Casterlands, which I did maybe like 4 in my life after I abandoned them, was that you don't really, it is not beneficial to try to do the reckoning. And I do it very often. And with those puzzles, you just have to like forget everything you know and just look at the pieces and be like, rotate it like 500 times and try to do it. There is no easy way to do a puzzle like this, which is a painting and with repetitive like sections, colors, details, and even like when you see the rocks on the bottom, and you see it on the pieces, you don't know if this is a wave, if this is a rock, if this is a small rock, or like, because when you look at the image, you kind of see, because it's more on the side of like impressionism. So like, yeah, it is very hard to do, and I think I'll be selling this one. Sorry, Michelle.
Well, not every puzzle can be the most beautiful puzzle in the world, because I understand. There are the puzzles that are just beautiful and you want to keep, and then there are the others that it's like they teach you a lesson. And this is one that teaches you a lesson, and are not necessarily going to be somebody's favorite puzzle that they're going to hang on the wall or do 10 times.
I mean, it would be very nice to do it not as a speed puzzle. I would say so, because you can sort, and not with every puzzle in this style you can do that. So this is a plus for sure. So I cannot deny that. But yeah, even the sky was kind of doable, which I barely am able to do. So yeah, the sky was pretty nice.
Yeah, another reason why I chose this puzzle was because it's a very British scene. So it's not really a scene that other brands use. Like, it's not really a Ravensburger thing. But it's interesting that you say Castellan, because I actually did a puzzle this weekend from Castellan, which was also a train puffing over a bridge. So maybe there is some similarity between the image choices between Gibsons and Castellan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they sort of share some of the same art assets from time to time, and the artists in there, which is pretty neat. Yeah, Victor, I kind of like what you said about you just got to forget everything you know and just fight through it. How do you, as one of the top puzzlers in the world, how do you avoid a feeling of despair and just focus on get the puzzle done? Because I'm sure a lot of puzzlers see the like, this is really, really tough. Oh man, like what do? I know I just got to do it. But that like little pang of, oh man, sits in the back of the head and slows down. So what do you do to like keep fighting through? Like, do you sing to yourself? I've talked to some people that sing, or like what keeps you going in that?
I used to sing a lot during puzzling. It really kept me going. But I stopped before Worlds because I knew it is not allowed. So I kind of stopped altogether. Yeah, this is a very hard question to answer for me, because I am almost always in despair when I'm doing speed puzzling. But with this image and with this kind of style and this situation that we're talking about, I would say that it is very important to remember that you are still doing a puzzle for speed, but just let it go. Like that's what I did when I was very much struggling with the top section, and after that I was like, it is what it is. I will just do it. I will just slowly do the train or like the bridge, because I did the horizontal line of the bridge, because I could like sort those pieces, and it was actually very hard. I don't know, like everything in this puzzle was hard. But doing the bridge was actually helpful because it opened up. I could do the train. I could go downwards. I could fill in the trees that were on the right side and on top of the train. And I probably would have done it as well if I was like very stressing about it. But when you get to this place that you don't care as much anymore, and you are just like, I know how to do speed puzzling, and this puzzle is just very hard. So not to give up, but like release the stress.
Yeah. Maybe acknowledge that it's difficult, but then acknowledge that you still need to go.
Yeah, so I just continued to look at the pieces that I had. And this is what I recently do. I just jump around. And this is what I did here. I wanted to do those green sections. And I think I put like 3 pieces of them, although I had all of them and I couldn't go on. So I just went to this orange yellow section. Then I couldn't do that. Then I went here. And then I started doing the train. I was doing like 6 things at a time. And when I just felt that it's not going on anymore, like after 2 pieces, I just went to the other thing. And yeah, I think I also said that in the last interview that I need to learn how to commit. But with this, it actually helped. But also at the very end, it was an obstacle because I wanted to skip, like jump around and do something else. And I just had to be like, do it.
Well, and that's it's really tough coming in the close to do that. And because you're so fast at being able to jump around and moving on whenever you're stuck, I think that gives you an advantage early on. And it really is a game of just harnessing what makes you very, very strong and tweaking the things that are tricky. And I would love to like stay and talk with you a whole bunch more about this. But we have a couple other people that we're supposed to chat with today. But I'm really, really excited for you. That was absolutely phenomenal. And you did push through a very, very tough puzzle. So congrats on that.
Yeah, well done, Victor. That's this one was really tricky. So I was still puzzling for another, at least another 10 minutes here. So well done on your time of just over 40 minutes. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
See you next time. Bye.
All right,
Well
so
done.
we just had another lot of finishes. So we're at about 26th finishes by now. So in the last minutes, we had Julia, Carolyn, Anna S, Freya, Francisco O, and yeah, Freya's just done as well. All right. Yeah, so keep pushing through. So yeah, many of you, even if you're still only like done a third of the puzzle, keep in mind the theme of perseverance, and it might be that there'll be several people who have to count pieces at the end, but remember every piece counts, and part of this is also mental training for the puzzles that do jump out immediately as being more challenging. But keep going, you're all doing really well, and yeah, we've still got about 46 minutes to go. So I'd like to ask Astrid to join us.
Hello.
Hi, Astrid. So yeah, well done. Today, let's just double check. What did I say? You were 6th today, top 6?
I don't really know. I had my headset on and
Okay.
I didn't hear anything, and then I accidentally immediately left the meeting, so I didn't really know.
Yes, you just got 6th place today on a very tricky puzzle. Tell us what you thought about it.
I think I had many of the same thoughts that Victor did. And honestly, I thought I would place worse than 6th because I really struggled, I feel like. I think it's the whole when you're used to doing puzzles fast and then it just goes slower, then you think, okay, it's going really, really poorly. I figured out what to do with the bottom rocks things. It helped me just to look at the darkest black parts. There's like shapes. It's kind of one line, the black part, and that kind of helped me.
That's
But
true.
I don't know.
There is like this wavy blackness. It's interesting you say that, because when I was looking at the image, I didn't see the black. I just saw the white part, the lighter parts that were kind of sticking out in front of it. But that's also another trick, is to look at the background and try and blend out the little details of the brush strokes, the little blotches in the front, and just focus on the patches behind and try and fill that out. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, because you're used to looking at the things that kind of springs up at you. But sometimes it really helps with the background. I've also found that with, for example, the last puzzle we did with the text, the course thing, it also helped to actually look at the background instead of looking at the letters.
Yeah.
That's something I learned.
Yeah, we sometimes talk about changing the lens that you're using your eye with, right? Like, what are you focusing on in order to keep pushing through, which is really, really cool. I was kind of curious about a thing that you mentioned, is that you're saying that you're used to doing the puzzles very, very quickly, and then whenever you feel it being slow, especially on a harder one, like, you start telling yourself, oh no, this is going slow. Right? What sort of tactics or tools do you use to get yourself to get back to full speed, even if it's hard?
I don't know if I'm the right person to ask, because my mental game sucks. I'm so bad. Like, when it goes wrong, I'm just like, oh, no. But I think I did the same thing that Victor did, where I said, okay, this is a slow one, and I'll just keep plugging away at it. But I was close to giving up in the beginning. I was like, this is going nowhere. And then I kind of found my rhythm. So maybe it's just trying to have that happen before, like going at a puzzle thinking this is gonna take, I thought that this was gonna take me over an hour to do with like the speed I had in the beginning. But then seeing that, okay, sometimes it can actually move faster in the end. So don't, experience, and then you know that all is not lost.
How did you find the green section? The greens?
Oh, I thought the greens was some of the easier parts, because every hill has a different texture or slightly different color.
There's a lot of gradient you can play with.
I had like the two bushes left at the end, but even those, actually, the one was kind of, I don't know, blurry, foggy. It had like a slightly different shade to it than the other one.
Yeah, and whenever you can make those little advantages of this region looks a little bit different from that, and you can kind of parse it that way. It really gives you a boost, which is super cool. I think it's really impressive that you were at the point of almost giving up on this, and then decided to push through and crush it, which is really great. Is in your pantheon of puzzling, is how often do you do harder puzzles to sort of get used to what a hard, slower pace could be like?
Definitely not often enough. I don't know, very rarely. It's also something that I've spoken with my pairs partner Olivia about, that we are not very good at doing busy puzzles, and we keep telling each other we should really practice those, and then we never do.
Yeah,
and it's just
it's always easy to get roped into, let's do the fast stuff, or let's do the things that we're good at because it's fun and enjoyable. Yeah. But clearly you've done enough of the like tougher puzzle practice overall to still work out, which is great. I saw your note that you did a puzzle that took 16 hours.
I think I misunderstood the question. That wasn't just one. Maybe it was one puzzle, but it was just like going back and forth all day. So it wasn't it. And it
how many puzzles did you do that day?
Probably just one, but I used to do really big puzzles, And I think maybe that's also why I'm kind of used to this painting texture that Victor didn't like, because I used to do a lot of Castellan, like 3, 4, 5,000s.
See, and that blows my mind, trying to imagine a 3,000 piece puzzle that has that paintwork kind of thing. What's different about doing a puzzle like that that's huge versus a smaller one for speed? Like to me, it seems like that bigger one would be way more difficult, and I would hit that despair point of, oh no, I'm never going to get this done, way sooner with that.
But that was back in the day when I just did puzzles for fun. Not that this isn't fun, but it's a different mindset. Like that's back then, puzzles were supposed to take ages, right? Because then it's more hours of fun. So, yeah.
I have a question, Astrid. So you were very busy at the Worlds because you were participating in all the all the categories, and I understand you got into the finals for all of them. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So how did you keep up the energy during a full day puzzle competition? How do you keep yourself going and persevere over a whole day of puzzling with a lot of action, a lot of input, which is different again to puzzling at home for a very long time?
I went back and forth to the hotel and took naps. And if I couldn't sleep, I just put on earplugs and laid down and tried to like breathe and meditate for however long I had. Yeah, because it was tough. Like my nerves were wrecked, and I don't know. Yeah.
Do you is there a particular, you said you meditate, is there like a meditation app or anything that you use, or just sort of your own practice?
I think I just listen to whatever comes up when you Google calming sounds and then try to clear my head. I don't have a certain practice or anything.
Gotcha. Do you have you mentioned having headphones on while you were puzzling today. Do you have, what are you listening to in your headphones while you're speed puzzling? Or are you still listening to the calming sounds of like a babbling brook? Or okay.
No. I have a playlist called Energy, and it's just everything upbeat. So it's a lot of Boogie Wonderland and ABBA and anything like upbeat to keep me up tempo. Yeah. But I can't listen to the commentary. Like, you're really great at commentating, but it stresses me out so badly to know how other people are doing.
Terribly sorry to stress you out, but you do really, really well, and it's always fun to watch you on here.
So that could be another question. How do you persevere through Jim's commentary?
Well, I shut it out.
You just shut it out. You're like,
But maybe I could have used it today to know that I was actually doing well. And that could also made me not want to give up.
Yeah. Would you do you think that if you know that you're doing well, or if somebody tells you you're doing well, you tend to pick up the pace a little bit more, or does that cause you to get nervous? Because I've talked to a couple people where whenever they know they're doing really well and like they have a shot to like really, really hit their goals, sometimes that causes them to get a little jittery and they start making mistakes. What sort of thing do you think about?
I also get jittery. Also, just the fact that people are looking at you while you're puzzling, that's scary. And then they look at you and see how fast you're going, or if you get stuck at something, and I get jittery and I don't do well with it.
Was that a weird shift at Worlds to go from like puzzling kind of in your own environment to suddenly possibly the entire world watching you?
Yeah, very much so, especially because I think in the semifinal, I was seated so high. That was so stressful because I knew, because in the preliminaries, it was a puzzle that I'd literally just done. So that's why I did so well. So I knew I would be the last man standing at one of the top tables. So I knew people were watching me and I was just going to be alone up there. And that was stressful. Yeah.
How did I know it was stressful. How did you decide to like keep working as hard as you did on that? Because I would imagine it's like sometimes it can be very like, okay, well now we're here. Like what was going through your head, and how did you handle it?
Well, it's always more embarrassing to give up than to play poorly. So that's always a motivator. But I think also it's just a personal goal of wanting to do as well as you can. So it doesn't matter. I mean, I obviously had no ambition of placing in like the top because I knew that was impossible for me. So I think also I had the goal of going to the final in every single category, and I did that. So once I was in the final, I kind of just took a deep breath and was like, doesn't matter how it goes today. And yeah. But again, I really don't have many good tips for the whole mental part of it.
I think you just said a whole bunch of them, right? Like making sure that you're focusing on yourself and how good you can do and doing your best, right? Because a lot of puzzlers, it's really easy to get lost in the like, well, if I'm not in the like top 5, or if I don't hit this exact time, right, then maybe I should just throw the pieces up in the air and call it a day, right? But sometimes it really is just a thing of, hey, this is a hard one. Let's see how well I can do on a harder one, because the entire field shifts a little bit on the averages and the times whenever it's a really, really tough puzzle. I mean, we saw at Worlds, like some of the nature editions kind of shifted the entire timeline a little bit.
But I think that's one of the greatest things about this hobby is that if you can shut out the outside world and all the people who are so great at puzzling, it's really just something that you can focus on improving for yourself. And I really like that aspect of like, this is a skill that I can kind of hone and get better at. And it doesn't really matter how anyone else is doing. I mean, you get involved with that and you want to go to competitions, but it's really also just a competition with yourself.
I really like that. Had you and remind me, had you seen this puzzle before or anything?
Not this puzzle, no. I had no idea. The box shape was so weird. I had no idea. I was scared because you said the theme was perseverance something. I was thinking like, oh my god, she's chosen a wooden puzzle. She's done something crazy. It's not gonna go. It's a 3D puzzle. I don't know. I was really scared. But no, I don't think I own any Gibsons either. I don't know that I've done one. Possibly done.
How do you? I guess I'm curious now. How do you practice? I mean, you were saying that like you really like that you can get better and focus on what makes you a faster puzzler. So what does that look like to you?
I think I just do the puzzles that I feel like are fun to do and practice them. And then I always think it's fun to try to get the top score on myspeedpuzzling.com.
Ah, okay. Yeah, the My Speed Puzzling, it's really easy to like kind of do the video game version of like at the arcade and somebody puts a top score in, so then you want to.
But it's also a great way to kind of try the same puzzle multiple times and try different strategies to see what works and what actually makes you faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. There's a lot of puzzlers that are very one and done. And I think that the field might be shifting a little bit more towards doing extra runs to get the mechanics down, which is really cool. Well, what else do you have going on puzzle wise coming up, or not puzzle wise? Like what's going on in your life?
What's going on? I mean, puzzle wise, I've joined the Danish Jigsaw Puzzle Association. So we're planning the Danish Nationals. And that's pretty much it. I actually have a meeting with them. They're waiting for me to join.
Oh, they're waiting on you right now?
But I had to jump at my little, spot of fame. It probably won't come again.
Don't say that. You've been doing very, very well, and you've been improving, which is a combination for getting that line to keep going down. Are you gonna be able to compete in the Danish nationals, or
Yeah.
just setting it up? Okay. When are those?
Those are in April.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are people of other nationalities allowed to attend? And if they wanted to, is the registration still up?
The registration is open, and yes, they are able to attend. You just have to be Danish to win a title.
To win prizes. Okay.
Yeah. But the registration is open on the World Jigsaw Puzzle Association website. So join us.
Great
It'll
plug.
be fun if you want to make the journey to Denmark.
Well, we'll let you get to your other meeting. But thanks for spending a little time, and congratulations on a fantastic finish.
Thanks.
Thanks, Astrid. It was nice to chat with you, and good luck with your organizing and with your speed puzzling.
Great job. Congrats.
Yeah, so congratulations. We've had a lot of finishes, and just a reminder that when you finish, if you'd like to keep listening to the live stream, you can hop over to YouTube, and would love to read a comment from you, what you thought of the puzzle. What you think of Gibsons. Is this your first time using Gibsons? And we still have about 40 people still puzzling. So this is one of the trickier images. We have just under half an hour left to go. And Marit, last piece in, well done.
Hey.
So also on screen we have Linda, just less than 10 pieces. Aaron, about 15 pieces of black left. Ekaterina, the last handful, and Nana will be finished in the next 2 minutes. So everyone's looking great.
Yep. Keep pushing, everybody. I know that the slog is hitting, but this is about you versus the clock. So how fast can you go on a hard puzzle? Focus on that and just keep on trucking through. We're all rooting for you. I know that it's tricky. I want to see everybody finish. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, but everybody needs to try like you can. There we go. Couple more people wrapping up. I know there's folks that are coming in on needing to finish up the borders or some of the lower parts of the arches as well, but we're going to be able to get through it little by little. Just keep on pushing. As Victor said, forget everything you know about puzzling and fight through it if you have to. Or as Astrid was saying, it's about you and the puzzle, and just keep doing your best. Just focus on doing your best. Change if you're looking at the foreground, background, whatever tactics will help you get through this. Everybody's doing a really, really good job here. I see a couple people doing shape sorts. You're sort of putting a line of one knobs, no knobs, one knob, two knob, three knob, four knobs, and then sinking those shapes in as well, which is a great way to just shift things around a little bit. Everybody's doing very, very well here. Keep on pushing.
So in a few minutes, Reka will join us, and she's going to tell us some of the interesting things that are happening with ISPAC, the International Speed Puzzling Committee. But for now, we still have a lot, so we're just going to make sure we get a few more finishes on screen before she disappears from following the trackers. I do.
And you can see people like closing in really, really well here. It looks like Aaron is maybe about 15 pieces out or so, and Annalise finishes just under the 34-minute mark. Congratulations. Aaron's doing really well. You can see that they're picking up a couple pieces, trying to in a few different spots. We can see that over in the lower right, I think that's Leah, has that darker patch that's left in the middle to work through. And it's really just a matter of being able to make sure that you're looking at foregrounds and backgrounds, trying to do a little bit of shape work using multiple things at the same time. We can see Richard's, is that Richard's?
Richard's.
Richard, sorry, I'm slightly blind in one ear. You can see that they have just a line of pieces left. If they really, really push, they can get that physicality in and sink the rest of these pieces in very rapidly. I think in the upper right, we have somebody getting ready to close out as well. And in the upper middle, it's really a game of keeping that physicality up coming into the final close. You can kind of, it's like sharks in water. They can smell the blood. They can smell that end of the puzzle coming. And especially after a long draw like this, being able to push through and get it in. And Nana finishes, followed immediately by Rihards. Very, very well done. Congratulations to both of you. You can see in the lower left here, I can't quite read the name, but they've done a great shape sort, and they are very methodically getting those last maybe about 15 pieces in. Just got to keep on moving. We can see Leah with that top-down view that I absolutely adore, because it gives us a real good view of the whole table. Has all the pieces underneath their puzzle and is now sinking them in above one by one. They only have a small area left. There may be about 10, 15 pieces remaining inside of there. Aaron coming in on the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10 pieces. So they're going to have a little bit of a race coming into the 35-minute mark. Amy doing a really great job, has that lower quarter left to do. Who's this in the lower left? I can't quite see the name.
That was Veroni.
Veroni, go Veroni! We're all rooting for you. Just pick up one of the pieces. Remember, you can look at if it's totally dark, if it's dark with a little bit of the speckles on it. Use that feature +1 tactic to try to narrow down what to look at and study the image for a minute. And Aaron finishes. Congratulations, Aaron. Very well done. We can see Erna doing very well. Everybody's coming into that lower stretch. We believe that you can do it. You just got to believe in it as well. Get that second wind. Get that extra little push. We know that this is a tough puzzle. This is a harder puzzle for the entire EJJ field, right? Even some of the top finishers had slower times than their normal averages because this is a harder one. So it's okay to expect this to be a slightly slower time, but that doesn't mean give up. That doesn't mean take your foot off the gas. If anything, it means lean into it and keep on pushing. So that way you can get this built out.
I just want to mention, so Irma in the top right hand corner. So she and her daughter, so Veroni is her daughter and Irma is the mom. Irma wrote in the response to the question, when I was a girl, I used to puzzle with my mum for several hours to have some quiet time away from my 6 siblings. So that was when she had, a long times of puzzling in one go. And it's nice to see that here she's puzzling with her daughters tonight. Using puzzling as an avoidance from zany family members is always a good call, because it's a great space to just like, hey, this is supposed to be quiet time. Now, speed puzzling as an avoidance may not be quite as effective because you'll probably be done and then have to go play with them again. So one thing you could try, roping them into speed puzzling, because then it really changes the dynamic. But really great job, Irma. You're doing excellent. And last piece. Well done.
Yay! Congratulations.
Yeah, so now we can bring in Rika. So we've now, enough people have finished that she can step away for a moment. So yeah, Rika, you can join the conversation when you're ready. But yeah, everyone's doing well. So at the moment, we have about 20 people still puzzling.
Hey, 20 people still puzzling and just about 20 minutes to go. So if all of you get a couple of pieces in the next few minutes, there's a good chance we can have everybody finish. I believe in you. You just got to push. This isn't you can do this. Keep on going, everybody. Use the shape sort that you can. Just keep the physicality up. It's real easy after that 40-minute mark to kind of slow down and feel a slog come in. But really, take a deep breath, shake it out, and then move your hands as fast as you can to get those pieces in. You can see Heidi coming in on the close as well. Annika doing a very strong job. I think that's Katarina. Can't quite read the name in the lower left, but she's coming in on the close as well. And there.
From my screen.
Maybe your computer thought it was trying to do this puzzle and just hit that difficulty wall?
Maybe.
Well, happy to chat with you for a little bit, Rika. This is really exciting. Tell us about this really cool organization.
Yeah, so we're talking about ISPAC, so ISPAC, easier way to say it, which is the International Speed Puzzling Advisory Committee. And I happen to be one of the current committee members. It's a new committee, and it's been formed to create recommendations and guidelines and considerations for speed puzzling competitions. So ISPAC is completely independent committee, so it's just a group of people who have been really active around the competitions. Most people have been, for example, doing a lot of judging and organizing of different competitions. I've done least of the whole group of that side, except for the speed puzzle EU, like Euro Jigsaw Jam stuff. But I've, of course, many may know me for the control analysis and stuff like that I've done. So that's basically how I ended up in the group. But yeah, it's a group who want to improve the sport, basically.
Well, for those of us who haven't been like keeping up with some of the developments and everything, what sort of improvements are you guys looking at? Like what kind of things have been on the roster lately? Not necessarily the results, but just the sort of a rough idea of what you guys are tinkering with.
Yeah, well, I could start maybe with some. We don't have that many considerations yet because we just launched at the beginning of the year, basically. But for example, a couple examples on the website. One of them is, for example, for consider like philosophy and considerations for safety, and one of them is that keep the aisleways clear in a competition so that no one trips over when they are moving around the judges or camera people or competitors, anyone like that. And of course, if there is some situation that everybody has to go out quickly, nothing bad happens. So for example, this kind of stuff, which is kind of simple, but then for example, if you look at the world's live streams, it's a big event, but you can see there is for example, the puzzle bags might be on the floor, not under the table, but like next to it and stuff like that.
No, that's a really important consideration. Like any time you start getting into timed events, every little thing that could affect somebody in a way positively or negatively starts to matter. So I could totally see somebody tossing their bag aside, and if there's an extra piece inside of the bag, what happens? Like, are people checking for that piece? Does the participant have to go and try to like jump through the bag, the trash bag to try to hunt down that last piece, right?
Yeah.
Like those were, and I really like the angle about figuring out safety for all the participants. I really like how that's one of those things that kind of gets glossed over sometimes because everybody assumes that it's just going to be fine. How did you guys come up with that idea? Was that like somebody suggested it, or was that on everybody's radar already?
Well, that specific one is one that was basically one of the starting points. Like it's kind of in a way an easy one, but something that you have also, it's good to state out that this is something that you should consider. And yeah, it's. Yeah, that was like basically one that was already almost ready, like before we even started, like something that people had noted and wanted to like write down. And so it was one of those.
Yeah, I think it's really important to consider about the cameramen because they are running from here to there. Like when I was judging, we're like, okay, this one's going next and then go over there. And the aisles need to be kept free. They've got these giant tripods and yeah, there's judges walking up and down. People are getting out of their seats, grabbing their belongings and leaving, and the cameramen have to make their way to hopefully catch the next finish. So I think that is an important thing because also when I was walking up and down through the aisles, like there were, you know, what do you do with the bottom half of the box? You know, most people take the box lid, put it on top. Other people kind of toss their boxes under their table. There were some I remember somebody saying, oh, that person put a box, has an extra piece in their box. It's under there, but it's actually the other person. They somehow got swapped under people's tables. And then, of course, you have all these plastic bags, but you can't get rid of the plastic bags because there might be a missing piece there. So you're just supposed to like walk through the aisles and kind of like slide things with your feet to the direction of the table, but you can't physically pick it up as a judge and move it out of the way. It just has to be kind of like pushed to the side. Hopefully people can find it when they go looking for a missing piece.
Yeah, and like under each consideration, we try to write if there is something that has to be considered about like just judging practices or rules or just general event organizing. Like we are basically trying to break them down in these, and you don't always have all of them. Sometimes you have just one, sometimes you have all three, but basically just like, if you're looking at this event, organizing a competition and looking at it from the event organizing side, what should you consider? If you are thinking about the judging practices in my competition, what should I consider? If I am writing the rules, like how should I maybe word something, or what should I remember to put into the rules, stuff like that.
I really like that it seems like the organization is trying to set up a set of resources for people that are developing developing their own competitions, which is really needed, because how often does a new organization start and they go, okay, but now how do we do this, right? I think it's really phenomenal that you guys are trying to not necessarily coordinate everything, but try to make a singular brain that can be used in however many different ways. Whenever you guys are making recommendations, are you thinking of them more as this is the way it absolutely should be, or are you thinking it more along the lines of here is a way to do it, but just think about how you want to approach it?
Still kind of hard questions to answer because we're just in the beginning of things.
Yeah.
I think the approach is more like, this is what we consider would be the best practice based on the knowledge we have now, but also this, like, the committee really wants to keep communication open to the community. It's not just we are 5 people, we are not deciding on our own, it's not going to supposed to be like our opinion of how things should be run. But like basically we want to reflect how the community, how people who compete, who are judges, who are spectators, event organizers, how they see things happening. And we have gotten several messages from the community. I'm really, really happy about that. And there's been some things that we had already started considering. And then there's other things like, oh, we hadn't even thought about this aspect of competition organizing. And for example, we are going to work on putting together several considerations that we will put them out as a batch. So it's not just one at a time, but several at a time. And in the first batch, we will, for example, have quite a lot of considerations about like how to take into consideration when there is competitors with different abilities. For example, if someone uses wheelchair, what does that mean for event organizing? Or if someone can't hear, like how do you make sure they know, like have a visual countdown? Have a visual countdown, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So they also know when they start, and also for the end of the competition, of course, and stuff like this. So this is some things that we are considering at the moment. And then there's some things that have come up either from our own discussions or from people who have sent messages to us that are quite tricky. Like they're important subject, but that it's hard to say like what would be the right direction to go. So those might stay on the table a bit longer that we discuss, and maybe at some point ask for the community, like, hey, this aspect of competitions, like what do you think, that how should this be organized?
I really like that your focus is on the community and sort of what's going to help the community a whole lot.
Yeah.
Some of the examples that you just gave, it's one of those like, oh, this is a very minor logistical thing for an organizer to set up, and it might just take like an extra, one extra person doing a physical countdown kind of a thing, or putting up at somewhere. But for a person that is affected, that's a great way for them to still be included without having a like a delay or anything like that. That's really, really wonderful. What are Michelle might be able to put it on the chat, or even you could. How can people contact you if they have suggestions, or if they just want to follow what's going on? Like what's like the website, the plug, all that kind of stuff?
Well, the website is ispacpuzzle.org, so ISPAC puzzle.org. And from there, you can find basically everything we have done so far, introduction of our committee members, and more info about what we are doing. And also there's contact form and our email address on that website. So you can go there and send us messages through the website, and we try to respond, at least like thanking you for your message quite quickly. And then we might come back also with like further questions like, okay, what did you mean about that? Or we have you considered this aspect? Also to have a dialogue. But also it's we prefer that people like tell who they are, so we can, or give some contact info so we can have this dialogue. But if it's not like mandatory, you can also send a message without your name or any contact info. But then of course, if we have some questions, we don't know who to ask. And we also, sorry, I'm just going around.
No, by all means, please tell us all the things.
Yeah, and also like when you contact us, we will not share what you have sent us to anyone outside the committee unless you request us to do that. For example, if you have feedback for a certain event, for some reason don't want to send it yourself, which I think often is the preferable way, but there is a situation when you don't want to do that. And you can send it to us and say, hey, could you be the conduit, like the person like sharing this, that, and we can do that, but that's not the main goal. It's to have the discussion and create these considerations.
So there really is a focus on confidentiality, and putting your name into the field is more so you all can follow up with the person making the comment, not to say, oh, this person said such and such, and it becomes a whole like Puzzle Palace drama gossip kind of thing. Okay.
No, it's just for us to have ability to communicate with you. So if Michelle sent us something, we're not like saying this was because of Michelle said this and that. It's used as like background information and as starting point for our conversations and writing the philosophies and so on.
Gotcha.
I'll go back a little bit beyond the website. We also have Instagram account. So there also it's ISPAC Puzzle. I think it's with the ISPAC_puzzle. But if you write ISPAC and puzzle to the search, you will find it. And that's one of the ways we also like try to share things that we're doing when we get to the point that we're actually publishing stuff.
No, that's really great. Are you guys focused mostly on big national or world's level competitions, or are you also looking at smaller like library competitions or online ones? What like sort of what is your main field of focus as you kick off here?
At least for now, it's not like the competitions happening in the like that you are in the same place, so not online competitions.
Okay.
Of course, the focus might be a bit more in the bigger competitions, also because we hear more from those competitions, like competitors from those, so national competitions and worlds. But the idea is to write things so that it's not specific that this is how you do it in the worlds or in the nationals, but you can also apply it to smaller competitions.
Are you, is there any concern that you guys might get overwhelmed with responses or comments? And there were however many, like 1,800 people at the last at the last Worlds event. Several hundred at nationals. Are you guys worried about getting overwhelmed, or are you like excited to get that kind of information to help make the make things a little bit easier.
At least for me, I'm just excited if we get a lot of messages. I mean, if we get like 1,800 messages at once, it might get a bit stressful to get answers to everybody. But then we know that we're here in the community, of course, also. So there's that side. So I don't think it's an issue if we get a lot of messages. So far, we have had many messages, but it's not had been like overwhelming numbers. It's still in the starting point. I think also when we get more of our philosophies like filled out and have the courtesies written, I think that will also help people to see more like what it is that we're doing. Like now we have a couple examples, but not that much info yet, like what's going to be when we have actually written the stuff out.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like a building process, and I'm really glad that you guys are getting the ball rolling here. And nothing's ever going to be perfect or have all the solutions, within the first couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
But it's really great that you're doing it. What are you most excited about this organization?
Well, I think just like getting like best practices out in like for the sport. I think that's really good. Like getting to build this like, what is the best way to run a competition for speed puzzling? I think that's just a great thing to be able to build that and create that for everybody. And for a personal level, actually, I love our committee, like small committee, which we may grow at some point also. But like it's been such a fun thing to work with these people. We are on 3 different continents in 4 different countries. So and like Australia, Europe, US. So it's like all different time zones, but it's really amazing to see how well it can work, even when you are so far apart.
Rika, I'd love to know how this started. Was this like some conversations late in the night at the Worlds, some people chatting, and then you had this idea, or did it come out after the Worlds via Instagram and chats? Like, where did it come up that you folks had these ideas and wanted to work together?
Well, I have joined a little bit later than the others. Like the other people all were judges in Worlds, and I think that's some may have met before or knew each other. At least Christine and Jason, who both lived in Australia, knew each other before. But I think they got talking there, and that's where they're starting. It was the beginning of the whole thing. And I joined a little bit later when William from a committee contacted me because of the country rule stuff that I had published on Instagram, and first like comments from me, and then we got talking, and I ended up in the committee.
I just want to mention we've got 2 minutes left. 3 minutes. 3 minutes left, everyone. Maria, that's Tamea, Miller, Marie, Daniela, Teresa, Jim, Kirsten, Lotta, Eliska, Mayday, Lara, Michelle, Christina, Dominic, Lynn, and Shannon. So
you all can do it. Jim, make our name proud. I believe in you.
Yeah, there's just Maria's gonna make it. Jim, really close.
Everybody's gonna make it. You just gotta push.
Perseverance.
How fast can your hands go? Believe.
Persevere.
Exactly.
Rika, I had a question specifically from the website. It's under the theme of courtesy and the resulting rules. Competition tables that are shared should or will have a marking such as a piece of tape dividing the table into equal competition spaces. Competitors will stay on their side of the tape. And for pairs competitions, it is commonly accepted best practice for both pairs at a table to put their puzzle box next to the tape line. If both pairs do so, it aids in keeping all of the puzzle pieces on the correct side of the competition table. So yeah, I think that's a really good recommendation, even not just for the like organizing standpoint, but just people who are going to a competition to think, okay, you're in a pairs competition and you're, whether it's pairs or even if you're just single and you're sharing a table, like, no, especially for pairs. Yeah, both put your boxes towards the middle of the table, and that way you're not gonna, have that situation with Victor and the Australians. So.
Yeah. That that is like, for example, we all were to Worlds and have watched, for example, Karen's recap videos, and also I watched all the live streams, even though it was there the whole week. I watched also the live streams, and like for example, that kind of situation that we saw with Victor and Natalia and the Australian team or pair, like from something like that can come out this like, hey, it's best. Could be good to recommend people to put the lids next to each other, so it creates such like natural parigate there in between the pairs.
Yeah, no, that's a really cool thing, and I know we're coming up on the clock here. Everybody, just push to get those last couple of pieces, and Teresa gets under the line. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop it. Well done, everyone. Everybody. Very well done.
You just persevered through 2 hours of a very challenging puzzle. Congratulations. So close. Yeah, go ahead and count your leftover pieces and then write that in the chat. So anything that's not 3 pieces or more connected. Jim, so close.
That wasn't just so close. That was phenomenal. That was amazing. I'm super proud of you. I'm super proud of everybody today, because this is not easy, and it's not easy on any level. So being able to get as much of this puzzle done in this amount of time is just wild, and especially whenever you have some of the top puzzlers in the world that you're up against. Also had rough time with this one. You all should be really, really proud of yourselves. Especially Jim, you did our name proud. I'm excited.
Yeah, so close. So Lynn had 12 pieces left. Jim had 16. Lotta had 24. So yeah, come on, just put in those last pieces. Jim, you got 16 pieces left. Put them in.
Just do it. Just do it. Just get it done.
Yeah, and Lynn's got 12. Lynn's got to finish off.
Yeah, just finish them off. And the next time you do a puzzle, just use what you've learned here. Just go that little bit faster, because that's all within like a minute or two of being able to wrap up. You guys did really, really wonderful, and I hope you're proud of yourselves. And Rika, great job helping to like organize and set up the cameras in the background. I know a lot of people watching, they don't know how this works. But Rika is doing a phenomenal job of making sure that people that are close to finishing or near finishing end up on the screen in time. And it's really, really tough. I don't know how you juggle this and being on an international committee and doing all the stat stuff you do. It's really, really wonderful.
Yeah, well, like the stat stuff is a little bit on the background at the moment because of other things.
Yeah.
And like Michelle knows, for example, I said to her, like, I can't do quite as many of these virtual assistant gigs this spring, probably because I have other stuff going on. But I mean, it's I love the sport. It's fun to do things related to that.
Yeah, and you've been really instrumental. So at the beginning, when I first started saying, like, calling out, I need some help, like, how could we do this? Like, you were always giving me feedback, and after every competition, you always had ideas like, oh, I think next time if I did it like this, I could see more people, or we should ask people to do that, or things like that. So you've really helped me kind of develop this competition into what it is. And yes, so I understand you've got other new challenges to focus, but yeah, so helping me out every now and then is always a bit fun, and to catch up. But yeah, obviously that's taking a lot more of your time, and I think it's a really important thing. I think it's really great that you're doing that. I really enjoyed it when I was going through the website and I was reading all of it. I'm going, yep, that's really good. And sometimes it's just like, yeah, it seems kind of obvious and seems like, yeah, well, why wouldn't you do a competition like that? And yet it's when you do organize a competition, there's so many aspects to consider. For example, when I organized the competition in Trier, somebody said, don't forget to tell people in the rules that they have to be responsible for their stuff, and you won't accept any liability for items that are stolen or if something goes missing or something. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, then maybe I should mention that too. But obviously that person who wrote to me has been at some event, not necessarily speed puzzling related, but just an event where something got stolen, and the organizers were held responsible or something. So
Yeah.
even so, so thinking about all the people involved, not just the participants, not just the organizers, but the people that are helping, and the judges and camera people, and those with disabilities is really important to consider. So I think it's great.
Yeah, I think like the most of the stuff we will put out it's not revolutionary or rocket science. It's just like putting in writing the practices that in many places people already do, and like some places do some of them, other places do some of them, some other parts, and so on, just to put it all together for people to see them, and so we can more easily like collect them. And
no, that's great. Well, so I forgot to turn the timer off. So I think it's one of probably one of the hardest puzzles we've had in a solo competition. I tend to reserve harder puzzles for pairs. So we actually had several people who didn't finish and did have to count. But I'm really glad to see everybody stuck through it, persevered, and hopefully enjoyed the process as well, or learned some things along the way. And yes,
and have a little bit of fun, because that's what puzzling is at the end of the day, right? And sometimes there's even snacks waiting for you at the very end.
Yes,
right?
Jim can enjoy his snack too. He's waited 2 hours for that snack.
No, everybody did very, very well. This is not an easy puzzle, and I'm glad that everybody pushed through as much as they did, with every skill that you have, right? Like everybody has different levels of the gas that they can step on whenever the going gets tough. Everybody has different advantages whenever there's like greens or dark pieces, that kind of thing. And just finding what works and keep pushing through, and using every puzzle to learn a little bit more about yourself and how to do better the next time. That's what it's really all about. And really a big thanks to Rika for talking about the ISPAC, which is really, really phenomenal. Make sure to check out the YouTube chat for the links to that. And also, Michelle, thanks for having me. This is always a blast. I get really excited being able to be a part of all this. This is really cool.
Yeah,
you're a wonderful thing.
Oh, thanks so much for your help, Jim. I mean, it's kind of funny how the schedule works, but we're having Jim for 4 times in a row. But don't worry. Don't worry.
Don't worry. You won't have to put up with me much longer.
What I mean to say is don't worry. I haven't kicked everybody else out. We do have other co-hosts coming in. It's just that the way that the schedule worked out, we're having more of Jim. And actually, this coming Sunday is going to be super exciting. It's going to be the first 1,000 solo. Inga, are you participating in the 1,000 solo? Yeah.
I'm participating in that one.
And
also.
Rika as well. Oh, that's it's also a chance to practice perseverance. However, I think we'll pick a more fun topic, a more fun theme for Sunday. And I just want to point out, Dominic has got a nice message there. Happy birthday, Toby. So great. So let's so the next competition is a flex competition. So that's one that will not be live streamed. That's where we're going to have a larger group of participants. There's no live stream, there's no commentary. So for people who just want to just do their puzzle and focus, or for those who maybe can't commit to joining in a competition at a specific time because they maybe have a very erratic work schedule or kids that might interrupt or something. However, Vesna from Puzzling Happiness will be live streaming on her channel. So if you're curious to know what the puzzle is, you can hop over to her channel. And otherwise, we'll see you all there. Inga, Jim, and Rika, see you there. Hopefully, Jim, the other Jim in the comments, maybe cheering on Inga. And we'll see
all the gyms.
See if it's another train puffing through the English countryside, or maybe it'll be something else. Let's find out. All right, thanks everyone, and have a great evening.
Happy puzzling.
Bye.